Reaction when you heard the news about Senga?
Um, Unfortunately, you don't want to lose one of your biggest uh, pieces of the rotation. But it's one of those where after getting him checked out and all that, feel a little bit better. So, but yeah, it was a little bit of surprise.
When you look at that spot to fill the rotation, at least early on this season, David had mentioned guys like Budo, McGill, Lucchese. How do you look at that competition going forward in spring right now?
Same, the biggest thing is that we got to get them healthy. We got to get them to the next 4 6 weeks healthy, right? That they're getting ready for this season. I don't think from their end anything changes. We've been talking about our depth a lot, and here we are. We're already getting tested, right? And they're gonna get an opportunity and see how the camp plays out. But the biggest thing for me, I don't want them trying to do too much, especially in the early going.
Hey, Carlos, you guys have talked a lot about liking the depth that you do have. What is it about these guys that you like so much?
Well, it's tough. They compete, and their ability to get out. And we got few guys that can do that.
You said when you got the full information, you felt a little bit better. I guess what did you fear, and what makes you that
Well, I
optimistic?
mean, every time you're sending a guy for MRIs, you're expecting, for the worst. And in this case, you know, we got a little bit of good news, right? So that was the biggest thing for me. That once the doctors took a look at him, and we were able to have those conversations with him, with the doctor, make me feel a little bit better. So, and even talking to Senga as well.
I know it's still early after the injury with Senga, but does that change how you maybe feel about a six-man rotation or monitoring his workload as it was last year?
I mean, look, we got to get him healthy first, right? And then there's a lot of conversations. There's a lot that goes into when you're making this decision, where you are on the schedule. Like what's your roster look like? What's the bullpen look like? How many games are you going to play in a row? So everything is always in play. But again, from Senga's standpoint, like he wants to take the ball as much as possible. But right now, the biggest thing is to get him back healthy. And then once we get him back healthy and see where we at, we'll have those discussions whether we want to go 5 men, 6 men. That's all that.
Carlos, do you expect to play your full starting lineup Saturday?
No, you'll see a couple of guys there. No, there's a couple of guys that you won't see until like first week of March. So, but you'll see a couple of them.
Nimmo's one in particular who's
Nemo's one in particular who's the past couple of years that's part of his routine, and look, at the end of the day, trying to get to March 28th with everyone healthy, and Nemo's one of those that you won't see in games early in camp. Bader is another one because of the volume that you'll see also all those guys going through their workout and getting live at bat, but it's just more building those guys up to game like.
does Marte fall into that category too? Or
No, he just got done playing winnable. You won't see him the first couple of days, but I'm pretty sure you'll see him earlier than usual. This is like I was told. This is a guy that don't play games to like first or second week of March, but it's different this year. He just got done playing in winnable, and he's feeling great. So I'm anticipating seeing this guy on the field earlier.
Mauricio previously was over on in the back there on the minor league side rehabbing, correct? Not in the Dominican.
Uh, that's a good question. Since I've been here, I think he's back and forth.
Gotcha.
So he's getting treatment there, here, and around the clubhouse here.
And do you expect him to have him around the team during the season too, or is he going to stay here?
I will have to get with the training staff, but yeah, of course, I would like to have him around in New York, and there's always some checkups and stuff like that. So whenever he's in New York, like I would like to have him around. But at the end of the day, we're gonna put him in a position where we feel he's getting the attention, and he's getting the work in as much as possible.
A prospect in Eric Orzi. What feedback have you gotten from him? It's a kid that's gone through a lot of adversity and finished off really strong at the end of the last minor league season.
Yeah, he's been through a lot, and he's earning, and this is I guess second or third big league camp, and all the credit to him. That everything that he's going through, and the fact that he's getting a look here and a good look is important. So it's one of those bullpen arms that are here, and I'm looking forward to watching pitch.
How did you guys decide on the pitching for this weekend? And why was McGill chosen to open Grapefruit League play?
Yeah, it's just with the way they show up to camp. McGill spent the offseason throwing a lot, working on his pitches. And I think it was more of like where they were at physically, arm, and we feel pretty good. The guys are, obviously are going to be in games early on, but it was just nothing more to, he came in throwing live VPs already, so it was an easier decision.